Good morning. Good morning. What a fabulous day in Colorado. The sun is shining, it's a little brisk. It's a wonderful day to be alive. And to be here at our beloved Althea. So good to see all of your faces. Thank you to each and every one of you for spending your time with us when you could be doing so many other things. We're so glad to see you and have you here. Today's National Nachos Day. Just to let you know, I don't know if the chefs know, but it is. And I was looking it up, and I forgot all my notes at home because, of course, that's where they do me the most good. It's International Don't Screw Up the Environment in Causes of War and Armed Conflict Week. Words to that effect, I thought, well, how appropriate for the world we live in. So welcome. Please turn off your cell phones or put them on vibrate or jab or whatever setting you have so they can let you know if there's something that you need to get in touch with. Acknowledgement of the indigenous land of the Cheyenne, Arapaho, and Ute peoples. That is what we are sitting on. Is the land that was originally nurtured and cared for and lived upon by those tribes. And their sacred treating of it, and we want to acknowledge that. Our building is home to two nonprofit organizations that impact these communities in Denver. They are the Spirit of the Sun and Sisters of Color and United in Education, whose work through activism, programming, and education is very impactful. And Denny Stan, is that how you pronounce his name, Stan? Last week for Dia de los Muertos, how many of you were here for that service? It was brilliant. He's so knowledgeable about the individual. That's just it. We also have an anti-racism statement that we want to acknowledge. Althea, that though we are growing in diversity, we have a long way to go. We've been a place where most people are white, and now it is skewed to an older demographic. Hello? Hi. We do have a strong queer membership, and there is so much more we can do to become even more awakened and welcome and inclusive. We ask for everyone's help and feedback to get us to a place of deep belonging for everyone. And that is really certainly a goal that our community has, and has had for quite a while. And now, do we have any newcomers, any first-comers here? Oh, we have two. Welcome, thank you so much. We're going to give you this flower so we can definitely embarrass the heck out of you after the service. No, I'm kidding. Not really, but no. It's just to welcome you. We also have lunch here, so please, it's on us today. And hope you join us. Thank you so much for coming here. We'd love to see newcomers and, of course, all of us old timers here. If you're wondering about this up here, this is just to acknowledge Barbara Vale's altar here that she's not here today, somebody set it up today. Sonoma set it up. And it's an altar so that if any of you ever feel like you want to bring something to absorb the energy of our service here today, a picture, a memento, of a loved one, or something that represents a goal of yours, please feel free to set it there during before the service starts, and be sure to pick it up. But it's a great way to just have that talisman absorb wonderful energy of this place. Were there any newcomers up front or up top? Oh, we have one up here. We have a newcomer up here. Can somebody? Welcome. We'll get a flower up to you too. And join us for lunch, okay? Join us for lunch. Thank you. Thank you. I didn't want to ignore them. And hopefully there's some newcomers online. I want to welcome our online folks as well. There's so many wonderful ways that technology allows us to come together and be together and share this wonderful day. So welcome to all of you folks online through Facebook or in the future, if you look at our YouTube channel, don't hesitate to use that. It's still up and running. All right, it's time for our opening prayer. So Connie Carter is going to do that. You gonna sit right here? Do you have a microphone?
You got me all set up.
All right.
And let's just take that breath. You know, we've all taken the time to get here, so now it's time to settle in. To just be present. To just be present with the presence. That power, that wonder, that absolute knowingness that we know that is alive within us, around us, through us. That essence that we call God, that we call friend, that we may address as our inner knowingness or our divine love. For it is to that we turn our attention as we open ourselves up to hear that which is here to empower us, to energize us, to enfold us. That which is already alive within us. So we know that as we move into the service, that we are open and ready and honored to allow that goodness to unfold through everything that is unfolding in front of us. For there is this absolute knowingness that is ever present in every moment. And so we move that deeper. We claim that. We are that. And so we just let go. And we know the wonder is already done. And so it is. Amen.
Thank you, Connie. And now we have our statement of being and our opening community song led by Anna Julie Rose.
Hi, good morning. I feel both honored and humbled to be here with you. Thank you. And I love all of you. Please stand as you're able while we read our statement of being. God is all, both invisible and visible, one presence, one mind, one power is all. This one is all is perfect life, perfect love, and perfect substance. We are individualized expressions of God, and are ever oneness, perfect life, perfect love, and perfect substance. Everyone sing.
We are the
today, I have a request. There's a thing that goes along with this, and I've never learned it, so if you know it, come find me. You know what I'm talking about, that thing? Yeah, I'll learn it. Thank you. Okay.
Thank you, Anna, Julia Rose. What a beautiful name. It's just so Florida. Florida. It's like saying Florida. Okay. Our featured musician is a new member, Christopher Weatherall, and he is a proud Black non-binary entertainer, singer, and writer who is passionate about sharing insight through the power of performance, art, dancing the fine line between the masculine and feminine. They hope that through demonstrating such freedom of expression, they can encourage others to embrace and admire the beauty of individuality, dedicated to highlighting the breadth of expression and bringing people together. They entertain and educate, ensuring justice for the disadvantaged while spreading love and light in these times of fear and uncertainty. Very welcome energy to the planet. Please welcome Christopher.
Does it almost feel like you've been here before?
Beautiful song, beautiful performance. Thank you, Christopher. Our guest speaker today, Holly Duckworth. Was there ever a time in your life that you said yes when you really meant no? Then spent weeks regretting the decision? If you answered yes to this question, you are in the right place. Our guest speaker today is Holly Duckworth. CAECMP LSP. There's a joke there somewhere. Just can't come up with it. Sorry. Is a New York Times contributor on the topic of mindfulness, founder of the American Mindfulness Association. She is the award-winning author of 4 books, including the one she shares with us today, Everyday Mindfulness from Chaos to Calm in a Crazy World. And that certainly goes hand in hand with Christopher's song. Holly is a certified workplace mindfulness facilitator and sought-after advisor on mindfulness in the workplace. Organizations worldwide go to Holly for insights on how to focus and stay in the present moment, even in these challenging and uncertain times. She's high energy when you need a boost and a compassionate ear when you just need someone to listen. Holly is a licensed spiritual practitioner of Centers for Spiritual Living, serving from Mile High Church to Lakewood and she shares with us her talk, November, letting go of no for the new. Please join me in welcoming Holly.
About this November after that inspiration. Thank you so much for First of all, I'd like to say thank you for being here. Congratulations. You all survived. Spring forward, fall back. Anybody have a good do-over of that 2 a.m. hour? Good do-over of that 2 a.m. hour. It's always an honor to have the opportunity to talk to those early risers who get their clocks all aligned just right. As you've heard in my bio, I'm really committed to the act of saying no in order to have what you really want to have in your life. In fact, I'm so committed to this practice, I actually changed the word November to November. So that we all can remember to say no just a few more times. Let's go forward, backwards. We're just going to drive wherever we want to go today. Okay, I'm not going to have my slides. That's all cool. There we are. Saying no to create the new. The other thing about November is it's also a time to say welcome to the eating holidays. Yes. Anybody looking forward to the turkey, the cranberry, the tofu, the salad you only get one time a year? Well, there's good news and interesting news about the eating holidays. It's a reminder that life is a buffet. However, we only get one plate. And it's an opportunity to explore what are we going to put on our plate. There's the literal plate of the Thanksgiving holidays, that big helping of mashed potatoes, that cranberry sauce, Mom's favorite apple pie. But there's also the invitation in November to think about what are we putting on the plate of our life. I've found working in my coaching practice as we're evolving and emerging through this pandemic, many people are still trying to put all of the 2020 stuff, all of the 2021 stuff crammed into 2022. And perhaps today I'm here to give you a bit of a permission slip. To breathe, to exhale, and remember that you do not have to fill your plate with so much doing. In fact, perhaps 22, and now as we start to look to 2023, as an invitation for us to be mindful and aware about the helpings of life that we're choosing to put on our plate. So that got me thinking about, why do we say yes so much? Why are we actually maybe afraid of saying no? Maybe we doubt our ability to say no, and oh my gosh, what will people think of us if we say that word N and O with a period? So I started to do a little bit of research from the American Psychological Association about this idea of no. And I've laid out 10 reasons why we find it hard to say no. Perhaps it's because you don't want to demonstrate a commitment. Your life and your plate is already full. Maybe you're worried about how saying no, say yes. Of course I'll help you. Of course I'll do that one more project that I don't have time for in my life. Here's another reason we might not say no. Our culture tells us that it's very important to be a team player. But I want to remind you, as we walk into November, creating something new in our life, that perhaps it's possible that you could actually say no, and say no from a place of being a better team player. That so often people come to us asking us to do things assuming that we're going to say yes. But there's a big difference between saying no and being selfish, and being no because in fact you are a team player and you just simply don't have the room and the plate of your life right now. This one, number 5, why are we doing this, is really resonates with me. I could never say no because that means people won't like me. I hear the laughter, so it's possible you've had that one as well. It sometimes can be intimidating to say no. Whether it's your boss or a friend or someone you're trying to impress. It's human nature for us to worry about saying no. But it's also human nature to recognize that the more we say no, the more those people who truly respect us honor that no. Of course, number 6 is we genuinely want to help. Again, that idea of we're coming out of our homes for the last 2 years, we maybe haven't been able to volunteer and commit and do all the things we wanted to do. So we genuinely see that 2022 and into 2023, we have the opportunity to help, but we haven't had the opportunity before. Maybe it's time to recognize you can genuinely help by going deep in one area rather than wide, scattering yourself too thin. Maybe you're saying no because you don't want to jeopardize a relationship. I like this one because it invites us to a question that I often give to my coaching clients that can change the way they think. And that question is the question that I gave to the co-author of my book. Does it have to be this way? Does it have to be this way? That you're going to jeopardize a relationship because you say no? Or could no be that sacred invitation for a new relationship to emerge, personally or professionally? So we can say no and recognize we're not going to jeopardize a relationship. But then, of course, that still small voice within us sometimes pops up and says, it's not nice to say no. We all have our values and our unconscious beliefs around saying no, creating what's right and what's wrong. As I was researching this talk, I also think this is a time of year moving into the fall and into the holidays for us to reconnect to our values. Because when we truly know what we value, It gives us guidelines and guardrails to say that sacred no. And maybe shift that belief to recognizing that saying no does not have to mean you're being negative to the other person. Number 9, we're afraid to say no because we feel guilty afterwards. When we say no to someone, it does not necessarily reflect that you are uncomfortable about the decision that you make. No is in fact a complete sentence. Although this feeling of guilt after is incredibly common, it is completely unnecessary. When you have other commitments, you are outweighing your options. And you have absolutely nothing to feel guilty about. And number 10, sometimes we're not willing to say no because we don't want to hurt someone's feelings. There's a big difference between that aggressive and assertive no and that kind-hearted no. There's a big difference between just saying no because it's not a fit right now and being rude or being unhelpful. And remember that you don't always have to explain the no. You've considered their feelings, considered the project or opportunity in front of you, and for reasons that only you need to understand, you can say no and not offend another person. So as we curate our life post-pandemic, there's a lot of opportunities for us to explore what do we want to have on the plate of our life. I think it's exciting to think about if you are in retirement, we don't have to look at retirement as the way it was before the pandemic. In fact, I prefer the word rewirement. One of my dear friends, Stephen, is a great example of saying no to that traditional retirement and saying yes to creating new in his life. At 87 years old, Stephen has had 3 major careers in his life. But even post-retirement, he's had one really important career. He said yes to taking a job as the golf steward at Raccoon Creek Golf Course. So, as a retiree, he's creating what he calls pocket money for those things that are super special for him. But he's also reimagining, saying no to what retirement in traditional society says it has to be. He's creating this amazing experience to get out, connect to other golfers of all ages, makes, models, everything from the super famous player to the person who's just hitting the golf ball for the first time. It gives him pride and purpose in the work that he does. And the no traditional retirement is a yes to a new way of living. I also have some friends that are parents. And I think right now, actually I'll just say it this way, I am thankful to God that my life was not as a parent in a traditional way. Because this post-pandemic is like the ultimate reset for saying no to traditional parenting and to saying yes to parenting in the way that you want to have it happen. And one of our friends, a couple, they have decided that parenting looks like traveling. And so they've created a life where their students and their kids can be in an online school environment. And they're actually learning the both and. They get to learn from a traditional book or computer, and they get to learn by being out, volunteering in communities, traveling to far-off lands, and applying their no to traditional parenting to yes to a new way of living. That's like a ripple that will inspire generations to come. And then, of course, there's the idea of career. If you are here today and you're in a job, the pandemic has invited us the opportunity to say no, maybe to that job you had before the pandemic, and yes to creating a new job opportunity. One that perhaps better aligns with your skills, your abilities, and your talents. But none of these life transitions, retirement, parenting, or career, would be possible if the people that I tell the stories about continue to say yes and continue to be on the treadmill of yes. I love this book, The Book of No, 250 Ways to Say It and to Mean It, and to Stop People-Pleasing Forever. In this book, the author goes on to say that often women and racially ethnic minority people have a harder time turning down requests because we've been conditioned to do that. Saying no can be more challenging for women because the societal pressure is to be likable. But men are seen as likable if they're assertive, while women are more likely to be seen as compliant. Minority students often face this as well, the need to people please and follow the path that's been put out before them. Perhaps this November is your call to say no to something in your life, to open space on your plate to reimagine the chapter of life that you are in. The reality is we can't go back and live those 2 years that perhaps we were holed up in our homes. Something, in fact, has to give. We're not going to be able to continue to do our best work if we're scattered saying yes, yes, yes to everything. And there's a power in going deeper into one thing. Perhaps it's time to get off the yes, yes, yes treadmill. Consider some potential life updates as a result of what you want to create. Understand the power of a no creates something new for you. It invites you to pause and make an informed decision. Sometimes just allowing yourself to make your life simple and giving yourself a permission slip to do so. So now that in our intro, I asked the question, is there something in your life that you said yes to that you wish you'd said no to? Anyone willing to explore a permission slip? You know, when we were kids, we always had to get a permission slip to go to the zoo, a permission slip to maybe do that extracurricular activity, play basketball. But as adults, we maybe unconsciously would be waiting for someone to give us that permission slip. So I brought a few permission slips today. I was just wondering if there was somebody out there that maybe had something that popped up into their mind that they would like a permission slip to approach in a different way. Raise your hand. Anyone? Want to get a permission slip to change? Come on up. Let's have you pop over here. So would you be willing to share a little bit about what was the idea that came into your mind that you're looking for a permission slip to change?
I don't know if they'll be able to hear me, but,
I'll repeat it so they can hear
well, early in my life, my schooling told me I can't write, I can't speak. I'm about to publish a book.
you. Woohoo! Fantastic. So what's the permission slip that you're giving yourself to say no to so you can have what you want in your life?
So, let's see where I was. That my earlier message was, I can't speak, I can't write, and I'm giving myself permission, have given myself permission to do it, and now I'm about to have a book published through May House.
Congratulations. ARICA?
Yes.
Okay, thank you for your courage to come up here and hold the microphone and share your story and write it down. Here's your permission slip to keep going. So in today's deeper dive, I brought a few more permission slips. So I want to invite you to, join us after the lunch to explore what is it that it's time for you this November to say no to in order to say something yes in your life. And we're going to give you a permission slip for change. So as we learn to say no, I have 3 pieces of insight for you to take with you. 1, never say yes immediately. New rule, never say yes immediately. Always thank the person for giving you the opportunity, and then take a moment to breathe. Be an optimist about it, and be real about, would this new task or opportunity be worth it? When possible, ask for feedback. When you take that breath and that pause before you say no or yes, ask others for feedback, a mentor, a friend, perhaps someone here in the community. Ask, does it have to be this way? And believe it's worth the time of sacrifice if you say yes or if you pass on that opportunity. And then set a deadline for when you'll get back to the person. And respond on that deadline. Respond promptly. This allows you, even if you decide to say no, to recognize the gift of the ask and the opportunity. And sometimes no is just simply a, I can't do it right now. And an invitation to try something again in the future. So, since we seem to be on the theme of writing books, I'll wrap up my talk, No Never. With today's reading, I always love how the right reading lands the right time. And today, November 6th, we'll wrap up with our inspiration. Rise. You'll never rise to your greatest potential by being all things to all people. By Sally Hogshead. She invites today. Remember in life, it's a mindful practice to be present in the moment. It's counterproductive to be all things to all people. So today, where can you say no to say yes to something greater in your life? Ask yourself, what is mine to do? What is not mine to do? And follow your intuition to let go of those things that are not for you. Trust that you will be led and guided to serve the people you are here to serve, to do what you are here to do, and become what you are here to become. And the rest will work itself out. I invite you to say no to create something new in your life. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. Thank you. And I think we have Christopher today.
Say we need to talk, he walks. You say sit down, it's just a talk. You smile politely back at you. You smile politely, right on through. Some sort of window to your right as he stays left and you come right between the line. You begin to wonder why you came. Where did I go wrong? I lost a friend somewhere along in a big distance. And if I stayed up with you all night, well, I know how to save a life. Let him know that you sense. And if I stayed up with you all night, will I know how to save a life? As he begins to raise his voice, you were yours, implanted without choice, trapped to yours, break from the hands you follow. He will do one of two things. He will admit to everything, or he'll say that it's not the same, and you'll begin to wonder why you came. Where did I go wrong? I lost a friend somewhere along in a bitter distance. And if I stayed up with you all night, will I know how to save a life? Will I go wrong? I lost a friend somewhere along in a bitter distance. And if I stayed up with you all night, will I know how to save a life? How to save a life? How to save a life? Where did I go wrong? I lost a friend somewhere along in the bitterness. And if I stayed up with you all night, would I know how to save a life? Where did I go wrong? I lost a friend somewhere along in the bitterness. And if I stayed up with you all night, will I know how to save a life? How to save a life? How to save a life?
Good morning. I know Halloween's just over and Thanksgiving is coming, but all the ads are starting, right? And you look at your phone and everybody wants to sell you something. And I don't know, it turns out, I was shocked to find out that even God has something to sell us, according to Hafiz. This is called manic screaming. We should make all spiritual talk simple today. God is trying to sell you something that you don't want to buy. That's what your suffering is. Your fantastic haggling, your manic screaming over the price.
Short and oh so sweet and yeah. All right. Speaking of something to sell, maybe you're willing to buy, but now is the time to give to your community from your hearts. And whatever gift you can afford, please, with a bountiful heart and knowing that the universe is in abundance. Ushers, if you will start passing around the baskets, get that going. And also to mention, Holly, you have books that are available. If you would like to visit more with Holly and check out her volumes there, please do so after the service. And there are lots of different ways of giving. You can give online at our website. You can also use your credit card or debit card with a dip jar in the back. It's not really a jar, is it? It's a dipper. It's not like bean dip, but it's something that you stick your credit card in. And cash, of course, is always acceptable. And when the ushers are done, we'll have them come down and we will give a blessing. Okay, come on down. And so thank you so much for all of your gifts. And we have our offering here statement. If you'd all like to join us. The universe provides all that I need and all that I do. With great joy, share my prosperity. My seeds for a world I am helping. So it is. All right. It is now time for a new, somewhat new, aspect on the agenda of our Sunday service, and that is prayers of the community. And that is where all of you, we have someone who will be passing around the microphone there. We've got two, and don't forget we have people up there. If you have a prayer that you would like the community to be aware of and to pray on for the week, I also type these up, something to write with. I write these up and send them out to our prayer partners. The founding mothers of this institution believed in affirmative prayer. And an affirmative prayer is a declaration of giving to the Almighty, to God, to Spirit, to the one mind, to, I don't know, Joseph Hassenfaust, whatever name you want to give that spiritual being, to make manifest your goals, your desires. If you have problems, if you have anything that you would like to turn over to the universe, our prayer partners, and there are about 35 of us, will be praying on these for the week. So please step forward or stand up.
I'd like to say a prayer for health, because I've actually been experiencing for almost a month and a half now of neck and shoulder pain. And it's just like radiates in the neck and it goes down to both my shoulders. It's hard to sleep at night, so I'd like to pray for, just some healing from all of you. My name is Laura.
I'm sorry?
Laura.
Laura, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
So this upcoming week, I am hoping to change my normal job and move to part-time and to start a private consulting firm. So I'm just hoping for lots of good energy that's going to be very successful and good days to come.
And what's your name? Julie?
Julie.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Katie, and I would like to pray for our democracy and that it continue strongly, and that the election next week is free and fair and without incident. And I want to give thanks for our own Tim Wilson, who has worked tirelessly for 3 weeks as an election support judge with a member of the opposite party that he is, and I admire him for that. But anyway, if you haven't voted, do vote. It's a privilege. Thanks.
Thank you, Katie.
Hi, my name is Marilyn, and I have prayer requests for both my wife Judith and the daughter Maggie. And Judith is positive for COVID, so prayers that she heals from that. But I'm praying for the struggle that Judith is facing, trying to help her daughter Maggie, who's trying to get her life back together. And I'm praying for, I'd like you to pray for strength for Judith to be able to help her daughter. and for Maggie to heal so she can live a good life. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'd like to ask, I know it's already happening with everyone who knows of it, but is there anyone who didn't know of Daryl's accident last Sunday and his surgery on Friday? If we could pour forth all our healing energy toward him, our precious friend and good steward of this center. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Well, thank you so much. Anybody from the rafters?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, speak up.
Okay. So I am applying for a study abroad program this week in the UK. They teach storytelling in the oral traditions. So if you guys could just send some good energy my way that I get in.
And your name?
Sierra.
Sierra. We'll see what we can do, darling. Anyone else? All right. Well, thank you so much, everyone. And now it's time for that wonderful part of our Sunday services. Announcements for the one and only Ginny Castleberg.
I feel like I should do this in a really bad British accent. Because you started. And it was almost a little Australian, and that was bad. So, I am Ginny Castleberry, and I am part of the team that brings you vibrant Sundays every Sunday, and brings you talent like Holly Duckworth. Holly, woo-hoo! So thank you so much for bringing that. And some of our upcoming speakers, just so you know, who is on the agenda. Next week we have Robert Brzezinski, who is going to talk to us about following the mystical path of enlightenment. So that should be pretty cool. He's a favorite of ours. Kiana Johnson will be the next Sunday, and she's going to talk to us about conflict resolution, which she normally does out in the world, but she's going to teach us how to take that to the Thanksgiving table and the holiday table in December and into the new year. So that is required. So everybody must be there for that Sunday. And Chris Parente, who is also a favorite of ours and a local celebrity on the news, is going to be speaking with us in December. And we have an amazing Christmas Eve coming with John Hurst from the Isla School of Theology, who's going to speak with us and help curate an amazing Christmas Eve. So get ready for that. A couple of quick things around classes and events that we have pretty regularly every Sunday, including this one. Matthew Quigley will take you on a journey of restorative yoga, if you would like to be part of that, today at 2 o'clock. And it is restorative, so it involves music, and it involves lots of breath work and lots of relaxation. It's very interactive. Every Thursday on Zoom, we have Community Connections with Kathy Humphreys. So join us on Zoom, and there's a different discussion topic every week. And Kathy, I believe there are a couple of Thursdays this month, because of the holiday, that we're not going to do it. Can you tell me those dates again?
I think it's the 17th and the 24th, which is Thanksgiving.
So week before and week of?
Correct.
Okay, so don't tune in on that Zoom, but otherwise she'll be there with us. And you can check all of these things out, by the way, on our website. Lots to learn there, so you will see these events and many others. And no, also, I won't point her out yet because we're still working on this, but we have someone in our community who wants to start teaching another yoga class and a meditation class, potentially, which is something we always get questions about. So stay tuned on more yoga and more meditation. Of course, the 100-year fundraiser, that red thermometer needs to bump up a bit. I think it's much closer to 10,000. It's right around 9, I believe, getting 8, 9 right now. So we should probably start rounding up a little on that. But know that we have an audacious goal to help us transform the inside of our beautiful 100-year-old building. It is getting its 100-year birthday this year, and we found grant money for the outside from Historic Denver, but there's not as much grant money for the inside. That's on us. Carpet, ceiling, paint, all of that. So we have an audacious goal to raise $100,000. We're getting closer every week. So please be a part of that, and you can give in the back of that tip jar. You can give with your QR code on your program. Many ways to give there. We always need volunteers. Everything you see happen here. So Sarma, raise your hand in the back. She is the person you want to talk to about volunteering. We also have a new board member that will be voting in, Dick Peterson, but we still would love about 1 or 2 more board members. And we are one of the funnest boards you'll ever meet. We laugh at every board meeting. We get to make all sorts of crazy decisions that affect everyone's life right here in the building. So be part of that fun as well. But the coolest thing, how many people were around in this space fall of 2019 or earlier? Who was a regular? Okay. Next question. Who loves prime rib? Okay. Who loves a once-a-year gala where you get to pull out that Christmas tie or an ugly sweater or your sequins? Who loves galas? Okay. We are bringing back, for the first time since fall of 2019, Winter's Gift. This is the time once a year in December when we come together. We have prime rib. Chef Tom is coming back to do prime rib for us. We have music. We have a bazaar of items for sale. We have an open bar. We do have, let's call it a generous price tag to come to it because it's also a bit of a fundraiser and we have to cover the cost of all these cool things we're doing. It's a $50 ticket. That's a lot. We get it. That's a lot. So if you can afford that for you and the person you want to bring or the people you want to bring, we will take your check for $50. If you want to donate to help defray the cost for someone else, that's an option as well. Or if you want to work off that ticket and have a free ticket, we need volunteers to help us go shopping ahead of time, to get ready the day of, to help us throughout, and of course to help us after. So you can attend Winter's Gift, even if you're not quite able to do that 50. So mark your calendar. You're going to see promotions coming out soon. But 6 p.m. Friday, December 9th. Put that in your calendar now. That is Winter's Gift. It is so much fun. It is so much fun and fellowship and amazing food. So that is the last big announcement. I do want to mention that immediately after service, we have prayer partners in the Historic Library. So if you need a prayer, if something has touched your heart, or you want to pray right there with a person who has been through training on affirmative prayer, you can privately have that session right after, behind this wall. And then also immediately after, our dining room is open and we have a beautiful lunch. Please join us. Those of you who are new with flowers, it's free for you today or the next time if you can't make it today. And I think that's everything. I always look at Rick Kitzman because he's the guy that knows everything, but he's hiding. Did I miss anything? Did I miss anything, Governor? All right, thank you so much.
Thank you. Well, some exciting things coming up in the near future before the end of the year. So yes, if you've never been to one of Althea's galas, it is so much fun. It is really a cool evening of celebrating with the community and seeing what everyone's special Christmas outfits are. Why is people laughing? They're beautiful. Okay, Mike, it's time for our closing prayer, and then Rick and Daryl will lead us in our community song, and then it's lunchtime.
So let's move into the silence once again, and we call upon the divine loving spirit to be in our consciousness as we move from our heads to our hearts. And we give thanks for this day. We give thanks for Althea. We give thanks for coming together to share our insights, our wisdom, and our love. And we acknowledge the omnipresence of God and the omnipresence of good as near as our breath. And let us remember when the world seems to be in turmoil, that we can come back to ourselves, come back to that place within us where we are connected to the divine, that place of love, peace, tranquility. And let us remember to love ourselves, to love our neighbor, and to love God's creation. And so for these blessings we give thanks. And so it is. Amen.
Good morning. I'd first like to acknowledge all of the healing thoughts that I've been feeling from this community all week that has helped speed the recovery along from my fall last Sunday. So thank you so much for all of your kind prayers. And please stand as you're able and join us in our beautiful song this morning, Let There Be Peace on Earth.
It's like a